Hey traders, in this market update video, I'm going to be covering the Dow Jones Target, what Dow Jones Target that I have, why I see that silver is one of the biggest underrated or undervalued metals right now, and it's probably the biggest long-term investment that I'm looking to play. And also I'm going to be showing you GDX, the gold miner stocks, and why I see a very nice move coming real short. I'm also going to be talking about Bitcoin and why I see Bitcoin's probably going to have a very sharp and quick move to 10,000. I'm also going to be covering one stock in this video that is likely to have a very nice quick move to the downside. It's been basing out. We're getting ready for a nice drop out of that. And it's possibly going to be even not just a drop, but the start of a very big bear market in that one stock. And then also I'm going to finish off with a story of the number one thing that I did when I actually first started trading. I started getting back on top of my feet. The number one thing that I did to actually start to help me move forward, and this came in a form of when I went through a divorce. I lost almost all my money. What did I do to start to rebuild myself, to start to get back on top of my feet, to help me with my trading? And it had nothing to do with my trading, but it helped me to really start to move forward. And I'm going to share that story with you in hopes that it's going to help you understand a bit of the psychology of why I struggled for a while, and this number one thing that I did to help me move forward. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this session today. And that's exactly what I want to talk about. Before I get straight into it today, guys, make sure you grab that free trading course, very first link in the description. Start learning the trading systems, chart reading, and so much more. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty guys, so a lot to go through in today's video. As I promised, I'm going to deliver everything I promised at the start of this video. So the first thing I talked about was the Dow Jones Target. What target do I have for that? Now I want to start off with the S&P 500. In the S&P 500, I had a projection target. This line through here was the projection of where I thought the S&P was going to get to. We got there. On the Nasdaq, I had a projection target where I thought the Nasdaq was going to get to, which is around that 9,000. It got to that, and it's overextended. Now I'm looking at the Dow Jones, and the Dow Jones for me has a 29,500 target, and that's where I believe we are on our way to that point. You can see how we based out for a while. We came up, came down, tested our support, and now we've been rallying up and rallying out of this level through here on the Dow Jones. So the target that I see where the Dow Jones is likely to get is the 29,500 level. Now, by looking at the S&P 500 and by looking at the Nasdaq, we can see how that we did get there, but the Dow Jones is still lagging its projection target through there. So that's what I'm seeing through there. The next thing I promised you guys was why I believe silver is the biggest undervalued probably the best long-term investment that I'm looking at right now. And why I see that is if I actually let me actually bring this chart up through here. All right, and I'm going to bring up the weekly chart through here. And I'm going to squeeze this up, and as you can see that this weekly chart, if I use a Fibonacci tool, right, let me just do this here. If I use a Fibonacci tool from the low to the high point, you can see we've actually retraced 60% of this level. We actually rejected right at the 60% level there, and we're probably likely to continue up from here. Now this is a weekly chart here. If I look at that there, we can see how we retraced 60% of the high since 2012 through there. Okay, but if I go to the silver price and I share with you the silver price, look at this here. From there to there, we haven't even made it back to the 38% from the highs back at 2011 and 2012 through there. Now, as you can see, that the high in silver was made in the middle of 2011, but the high in actually no, they're the same thing. Forget that. Right, so the middle of 2011, that's where the high was. You can see gold has retraced or already retraced that, but silver has a lot to catch up, even to get to its 50% level. So it has a lot of catching up to do, and I definitely do see that happening. And once we actually start to break these levels through here, especially this level 3, especially at $20 level, I think this very quiet period that we've been through here, we are going to see some absolute fireworks. I believe in all the metals through here long term, but especially silver. I believe silver is really going to pick up. Especially that I believe that a lot of the electric cars are going to use a lot of silver as well too. So Very, 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 very exciting through there, guys. Once we actually do start to break this level through here, we have a bit of short-term resistance up around this sort of 21, 22 level. But once we actually start to break that, then we're pretty much on our way up. And once again, that's the Fibonacci level through there. So the gold is at 62%, where silver is still really, really, really low here. We haven't even really started to break out where gold has. So that's why I believe silver right now is probably one of the best long-term investments for me personally, that I'm looking to hold for at least 5 years or more as this thing starts to unravel with the economy. Now that's what I'm seeing through there. The next thing I want to talk about is the GDX. I've been doing some research and I've noticed on the GDX was this here, right? So I noticed how, let's just this here, right? Bam, that's that level through there. I noticed how on this weekly chart that we've been pretty much basing out through here, we came down, came up, little higher low, came down, little higher low, and now we're basing out through to here, right? We're sort of just holding through. If we look at this daily chart, we see how we're just holding through here. If we look at if it's the GDX or GDXJ, let's go through to here. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to use the GDXJ because it's a much nicer chart. Scrap the GDXJ. We can see how we're really just going sideways here. We hit the resistance level back through here, right? Resistance, and now we're having a bit of a backing pattern. If we hold here and we start to push back up and we break above 44, then as you can see, the next major resistance is up here at 50. So we're probably likely to see a very nice move in the junior stocks move to the upside really, really, really quickly. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys. That's actually very that could be the start of a very big long-term move right back up towards the highs of 2011, just like the actual silver and gold. But on a short-term basis, maybe a 6-month process or 6-month basis, or maybe a bit more, I definitely do see that once we start to break this 44 level, like look at this here, right? Look how much we've been sort of just basing out through here, right? Just basing out. It's been pretty quiet for the last sort of, what is that? Right, we're talking about almost 5 months now of being pretty quiet. So that tells me when we do start to break out, it's going to be really, really excited. So I'm getting ready to place a position on this, but I want to see a bit more of a confirmation breakout above this sort of level resistance through here. Once that happens, then once again, I can see this thing racing back up towards, let me bring this back up to here for a minute. Right, racing back up towards this, at least this resistance level, because that's what the market does. It likes to race between those, likes to race to those resistance levels. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, and that's what's happening through there. The next thing I promised you guys, which was Bitcoin. Let me actually share with you what I'm seeing with Bitcoin and why I'm actually getting very, very, very excited with Bitcoin. Let me bring this up through here. Now, I use Bitcoin on the actual investing.com. I'm just looking at the investing.com website. I do have a trading platform that I can trade Bitcoin with, but I haven't got that open right now. So I'm just looking at the actual investing.com website. Now, why I'm getting very, 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 very excited in the markets, right, is because this Bitcoin is creating some sort of a very, very, very strong bull flag. See, how a bull flag works, right, is you have a very strong move up, and then you have a very weak move down, right? See how it's like a slowly stair step. See how we have a strong move up and then a very weak stair step down. And then we start to do, and then we do that. We have a bit of a trend line through here, and then we start to eventually break out, and then we go for another run. Okay. Now, if I bring up the exact same Bitcoin chart here, this is the weekly chart, by the way. Okay, we'll be able to see this, right? Let me bring this up through here, and if I bring this trend line up, let me just draw it from there and bring that down through to there, right? We can see how, if I bring that resistance, that's the actual absolute major point through there. Let me see if I can create, can I create? All right, let me see if I can, oh, there we go, cool, all right? And let me just bring this down through there. As you can see, that was the resistance through there. Notice how on this chart through here, notice how we had a very, very strong move up and a very, very, very weak move down. So this is actually a bit of a long-term bull flag pattern. And once we start to break up out of this level, we're likely to see a very strong move. Not only that, but what I also see is that I also see a major sort of end of trend indicator. And that's this point through here. Okay, so if I bring this up through to here, you can see how that the market, the weekly chart of Bitcoin held support here for all these weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, broke up, came down. Now we broke down, we're going sideways, and now we're starting to break back above. This is a classic end of trend, especially if we've been slowly stepping out. So not only do we have the big picture, which is a big bull flag, we're likely to break out, but now when we dive a bit deeper through here, we can see how, we can actually see how the major support level through there, and we break down. And then in that free trading course with the link below, I talk a lot about this. And so we can see how we actually have a movement down through to here, and then also very strong move sideways. Once we start to break above here, guys, we're likely to race back up to at least back up to the top through here on Bitcoin. That's the bigger picture through it. Now that may take 6 months, it may take longer. We don't know how long it's going to take, but that's the overall target through there. If I bring up the daily chart now, you can see what we're looking at through level through here. So I'm definitely seeing a big bottoming action through here. And once we start this, we're starting to definitely break it up back above and get it back above these levels through here. On a short-term basis, I see it running to around that $10,000 level through here on a short-term basis. Once we start to break back above here, but ultimately, I definitely see Bitcoin once we definitely get back above here, because we've got this bull flag at the end of trend indicator and a breakout. Then we're likely to see a very nice raise back up above these highs up here to around that $13,000 level, and then from there we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But what's likely to happen moving there, if I go back to that daily chart once again, is we're probably likely to stair step. We're probably not likely to go straight up, but we're probably likely to do something like this, right? We go up for a bit, and then we might find a little bit of resistance, go sideways for a little bit, and then break back above and continue up from there, right? That's probably what's likely to happen, or it may just go straight up, but I'm not going to sort of guess on that or hope on that. That's just basically what I'm seeing with the overall Bitcoin chart through there. So that's what I'm seeing through there. Let me just have a quick look at the hourly chart, see if I can notice anything on the hourly chart through here. I'm just looking for, oh man, wasn't that nice? Look at that. For my private clients, look at that. What a beautiful entry signal that was. That's a beautiful long signal. Look at it just take off. Wow, beautiful. Anyway, for your private clients, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, and that's what I wanted to share with you there with Bitcoin. Question for you guys: do you guys hold any Bitcoin? Do you guys hold any cryptocurrencies right now? Let me know in the chat box below. So I definitely think once you have a very good trading system, then I think that trading the crypto markets is very profitable. In fact, I had one of my private clients who's been with me for just over 3 to 4 months now. And his first 2 months, he paper traded, he stuck with me as a private client. And I told him not to do nothing for 2 months, make sure he gets everything right, know exactly what I'm looking for. And then he went to the crypto market with the exact same system I trade, and he did his analysis, did his research, waited, and his very first trade, he actually made all his investment back to my actual coaching program. So I'm so proud of him, and now everything's just profit. So hopefully he sticks on the course, stick to those really good trades, and that's something I'm really excited about with him there. And that's exactly what, because my system, no matter what you trade in the futures market, the forex market, stock market, 15-minute charts, whatever, it works on every single market through there, and it's really successful. Now, my system is not all about taking a lot of trades. I don't like trading a lot because that's over trading. I like taking the best of the best quality setups and then holding, be patient, and let the thing run there. So if you would actually like to get my weekly coaching, get my #1 trading system, learn how I scan the stock market and how I trade the markets as well too, and get me as your daily coach so I can share with my trades, then I'm back for the very first person. I'm going to give a 70% off to my actual coaching program. Just email me at howelltrader, HOWELL trader @gmail.com, and I'm happy to give one person to help you out for this year 70% off my entire coaching program. This coaching starts straight away and ends at the end of this year. Now, the next thing I promised you was the biggest stock that I see a lot more downside to come, and what is that? Drum roll, it is Boeing, right? Boeing has been one that I see a tremendous more. I'm getting very right. I'm getting very excited about Boeing because it's setting up to present a very nice shorting opportunity, and I'm so excited about this here. I just can't wait for this thing to confirm. And what I'm looking at here with Boeing, look how sideways this has been, right? Look how sideways this has been. Sideways, sideways, sideways. And now what's happened, look at this thing here, right? We've had a high, a lower high. We broke down, now we're going sideways, and now we're getting ready for a breakdown. Now, we haven't got the breakdown yet, but if we can get a very nice, strong bar breaking down, right? So what I'm looking for is something like this. If we can get a very nice open and a very nice strong bar like that breaking down, must be strong and a very nice volume spike. Oh my goodness. Private clients, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's on like Donkey Kong, right? Because not only are they happening, but if we look at the weekly chart, which is the bigger picture, look what's happening through here as well too, right? High, lower high, came down support, broke through, and now we're likely to break down. Now, the projection for this whole level through here, the ultimate projection point is let's actually this point, right? So is the absolute high point down to somewhere around about there, which is the low point. We project that down, all right? We project that down. We project the channel down. And so Boeing, on a very high probability basis, on a conservative basis, or a high probability basis, we're likely to get to the 266 level there, just around that level through there. So once I get a confirmation, I know I have a minimum target for me to get down here at, say, around about that 270 level, or just below that 270. On Boeing. So that's actually a trade there. I'm not in it right now, guys, and it may not confirm, but it's setting up to be a very, very nice trade for me, just by looking at the weekly chart and the Boeing chart. So if we get a very nice breakdown, guys, I'm all over it like Donkey Kong. And obviously tomorrow I'm doing my weekly group coaching call with my private clients, and I'll be going into a lot more detail with my private clients about this setup here. But for you guys on YouTube, here's a little bit of a free gift that I'm looking at right now, and to help you guys out as well too. But remember, guys, there is no guarantees of making a profit on any single given one trade. So if you do take any trade, just make sure you protect yourself where the losses are not hurting you and the wins are not exciting you. That's called an even balance, so you can trade throughout the whole year and just be yeehaw grandma, right? All right, so that's what I wanted to talk about there with Bitcoin. And then lastly, guys, one thing I promised I want to talk about is something personal with me of how I went through a divorce, lost almost everything, and didn't even own a car, and how I picked myself back up to get ahead in the markets. You see, guys, probably about, when was it? Yeah, probably about close to 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, somewhere there. I went through a divorce, and it was very, very, very painful. I lost everything. I had nothing. I couldn't see my kids anymore. They got the house and all that sort of stuff, and I pretty much was, down to zero. Right, I had probably $5,000 in my account, but I was pretty much down to zero, and I had to move out. I had to get my own place, get my own furniture. I had to do all myself because I had to leave everything to the ex-missus for the kids. Right, so I had no car because the car went to the ex-missus. And so I thought, you know what, I want to start getting ahead here because this is hard, right? It's just really, really, really tough. And what happened is I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start to trade this $5,000, and, I'm going to start to make money back because I know how to trade well, and I'm going to do well. And something funny happened is because when I had to make money to start to live on, instead of just trading based on my system, oh my goodness, guys, it was just like, it was so tough. Right? Because I was forcing it, I was rushing it, I was trying to make money today instead of just allowing it to happen. And I was making all these mistakes. And one of the best things I did, I said, okay, you know what? I'm making all these mistakes because I'm trying to make all this money so I can move into a new home and pay this rent, and buy a car and all this sort of stuff. I thought, if that's causing me the pressure, then I need to pull it back a lot. So what I did, and I'm not saying that you should do this, but what it is, at that time I moved into a share accommodation place where I had no car, and I used that $5,000. Initially I started using $5,000 and I lost like $1,000 of that pretty quickly. I thought, I've got to stop here before I start losing my money. And it's not that I couldn't trade well. I was trading really, really well at that time. It was just suddenly something happened to me and I snapped because I had this pressure on me. And if you have to make money every single week from trading, you're probably likely to lose money because you're likely to force it, rush it, and all that sort of stuff. And so when I started looking at these markets, I'm thinking, damn, it's like when I'm trading these markets and when I'm getting involved with these markets, it's like I need to step back. I need to take the pressure off so I don't have to trade, but I'm only going to trade when my system says. Because the fact of the matter is that some weeks and some months, or every single month that you trade is going to be different, right? Some months you're going to be very, very active. There's going to be a lot of trades based on your system. And then some months you're going to be very, very quiet. Like last year for 2019, I remember there was a month and a half to 2 months where there was no trades at all. Then the following 2 months after that, I had the most active months of the year. And that's the reason why I did well last year, because when it was quiet, I didn't trade. And so I went to a share accommodation place and I lowered my expenses so much that I said, you know what, I'm just going to trade whenever I need to trade. And what I did then is I just went and started working at a gym part-time, running classes. And when I was running the classes, because I love the gym, I'm very big into health stuff and all that sort of stuff. And so I started going to the classes, and I was just working up maybe 3 or 4 times at the week at there. But that was enough for me to pay my rent, pay the bills, and also get some food to live on. And I found that was the biggest thing that actually helped me start to grow my trading account again. Because the pressure was off, and I was no longer. I said to myself, I'm not going to take any trade until my trade is met. And at that time, I was trading the stock market, and I was also trading the European market in the afternoon here in Australia. And then I was also up late at night as well too, trading the 15-minute charts on the stock market with options, and then also trading the E-mini S&P 500 and the other futures markets. So I was really, really, really active trader with that one trading account. But I was looking for a certain setup that was very, very, very high probability. And one thing what ended up happening with that is that from that $5,000 trading account and losing everything, not even having a car, I found myself started to pick myself back up. And within 6 months, I got myself to a point where then I could buy myself a vehicle where I could actually drive around in again. And I bought it out. I bought my vehicle in cash. I then found myself that I could start to buy some new clothes. I started to really, really pick myself up. Now, it was a struggle there initially, right? Because I was just getting going. And then it was roughly about a year, maybe a year and a half later from that initial trading account, and then working on a few 2 or 3 or 4 sessions at the gym to help myself get by. I grew my trading account enough to where I could I could then upgrade to a much nicer car. I could move out into a really, really nice house. I could have a 5-bedroom house, and where my kids could come and stay with me, and all this sort of stuff. And things really, really, really picked up from me. But I'm telling you this story is that because if you're struggling with trading, we don't realize that sometimes the pressure of having to make money is the thing that's going to cause you to go backwards. And the biggest thing that I did was suck it up and having to live on low expenses and lowering my expenses so much that happens. And and that was the biggest thing. And I see some of my private clients, I know one of my private clients last year, he had a very small trading account, and then he went and got a mortgage. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Seriously, if you want to do well out of trading, delay the mortgage for another 2 or 3 or 4 years. Don't look at stop increasing all these expenses, which is putting more pressure and more stress on you so much that it's gonna force you and cause you to do some bad things, overtrade. It's gonna cause you to not be grateful, not be happy, be negative, and you're gonna be in a downward spiral. And I saw that with him, and it was an absolute downward spiral from him when he took this mortgage. And I remember thinking, you're doing everything completely wrong. Get your trading right. So you know what? For the next 2 or 3 years, I'm going to work so hard to get my trading right. And then once I get this right, I'll be able to buy my house that I want. I'll be able to buy a really, really nice car. I'll be able to start to travel the world and start to do all this sort of stuff because I'm working on the foundations. But he just I want to buy a house because because that's the right thing to do, right? And so, but I just remember there, guys, it was so tough there for a while because I felt like a failure, right? I couldn't pick my kids up. I couldn't go see my kids because I had no vehicle at all. When they did come and stay with me, the ex-wife had to drop them off, but I was actually in a share accommodation place. So there's in the share accommodation place, because it was only me in my bedroom, right? Because in a share accommodation place, you only got your bedroom, really. My 3 kids came and slept with me in the same bed, right? I had a king bed,
It was me in the middle, my son and my daughter to the left and right of me, and then my youngest son at my feet. And that's how I lived for so long. But it was the biggest blessing because it got to me where I am today, where I'm absolutely just crushing it and doing really, really well. And last year was my most successful year. And I'm saying that from a humble place that, one, if you do need my coaching, then as I said before, I'm here to help you and coach you through that sort of stuff to help you get better and better and understand this other side of trading. And again, guys, email me at howtrader@gmail.com. I'm running a 70% off for just for one person only. I just want to help some people out there. I've been getting a lot of emails, so I want to help just one person, and I'm just going to give them a 70% off to my entire coaching program. But that's where I was at, right? And I know you can do so well out of trading. But if you start to look at these things like, what is your trading system and what exactly are you looking for? What is your success rate? Like for me personally, with my trading system, I get up to a 90% success rate with my trading. But I don't have a lot of trades throughout the entire year. I don't want a lot of trades. I want to have the confidence, the ability to be able to put on a good amount of money per trade. So I only need maybe one or two dozen trades throughout the entire year, if that's the case, to have all my trading done, right? And I only trade 1 hour a day. I only trade the very last hour of the stock market, and that's all I do. And I do well from that point of view. Now I know if I wanted to start to apply this to the intraday charts, like the 15-minute charts again, or look at the 5-minute charts, or look at the intraday crypto charts, and so on and so forth, right? It's the exact same thing. But one thing I really, really, really found was that once I started to pick myself up from there, things started to move forward. And then after that sacrifice of a year or two going through that, that's when I could move out into a really, really nice home. That's when I could buy a nice car. That's when I could start to take my kids out to the theme parks and all that sort of stuff, and not be so worried, not be so tight, and then things started to really, really, really pick up from there, right? So I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not perfect, guys. I screw up all the time, right? Like, I'm not a perfect trader as well too, right? Sometimes I'm impatient. There was a trade recently that I got into with McDonald's, right? Like, I'm just looking at here. I'm just using this as an example. With me and my private clients last year, it was actually right here on this up candle through here. I said I'm getting in here, and I actually have a target of 210. But because it went sideways, I got so impatient through here, which I don't normally do through here, that I ended up getting out, and I made a small profit. I think I made around 10% profit, but my target was 210. My system said I had a very high probability of getting 210. Now, it took a lot longer than I thought, but then it started to ran up, and it ran straight to 210 in the last 2 days. Now, I'm trying to tell you guys that I still do make mistakes within the system, and sometimes I'm not patient enough with these trades. I don't know why. I think it was because of that whole December thing happening and getting towards the end of the year, and I was going away for a while as well too, so I was just worried about having money in the market and stuff like that. But I'm not perfect, but I've learned so much that has helped me do well from the markets, and that's obviously what my coaching program is all about. So if you are not doing well out of trading, you got to ask yourself a few things. One, do you have to make money from your trading? If so, it's probably the worst thing you can picture. It's probably going to end up being backwards. You're going to say the old saying that I said to myself so many times when I first started. I just wish I never started trading at all. Or I just wish I was back to break even. Like, please get me back to break even. Please, please, please. All right? And from that process, I picked up and I picked up and I picked up. And so through all that process, no matter what you're going through right now, and that's where with my coaching program every single week, I do those weekly group coaching calls, I can help you no matter where you're at, get through these mindset sticking points to help you get on track. Because once you start to sort this mindset game out and have a clear path, if you can put the work in for a year or two, then the results after that can be so incredible. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, guys. And I hope that my only hope in doing this video is, one, to give you some really good technical analysis and really good stuff as well too, but to motivate you that even if you're going through an absolute really, really bad time right now and you've lost almost anything, you can do that. You just got to know, one, a really, really good trading strategy. Two, you do need a coach that'll help you out. That's been the biggest thing for me. But three, you got to understand this other side of things as well too, is like,
Are you putting a lot of pressure on yourself? And are you being consistent, disciplined, and patient within your system? And all these other areas that goes into becoming a very, very, very successful trader. So once again, guys, if you'd like my help, then just the very first person only to email me at Howell, HOWELL trader @gmail.com gets that 70% off my entire coaching program.